in today's presentation.
Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody's time to actually come and listen in this presentation. It probably won't take a full hour, so I'll probably give you some time back depending upon the number of questions that we have. This is such an easy technology, and a lot of you are a little bit familiar with it, and what we want to do is drive a little bit more familiarity to it today and really talk about it. NetBackup 7.5 actually came out back in February of this year, and Replication Director came out with that release of 7.5. Replication Director was probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, piece of that release. What we're doing is we're slowly finding that the awareness is getting out to customers and partners, and as we're doing that, we're starting to see a lot of excitement about it. So this is good timing. The other thing about this timing is that Replication or NetBackup 7.6 is only a few months away. So the additional capabilities are going to be coming out with Replication Director here in a short term. So perfect timing to get out there and talk to customers. So let's kick her off here. I got to get on the right screen here. There we go. So what are we going to talk about today? This is kind of an overall agenda. We're going to get a little bit into the weeds on the technology, not real deep into the weeds, but we're going to talk a little bit about why we're doing this, why customers should care, you know, what the NetApp perspective is on this, and then what you'll need to know. So we want to leave you with enough information to go out there and start talking to customers about this and start building some excitement over it. And then, of course, all the pieces that you're going to need to know going forward. So why did we do this? Not why are we doing this, but why did we do this? You know, really, we have, within NetBackup, we have a full platform for data protection. And our full platform really does a lot of things. And most customers don't know all the capabilities that they have when they have NetBackup in their environment. And what we need to do is we need to get that out there. This is one capability that we didn't have, and we wanted to be able to unite snapshots and backup together and create the best of both worlds. And you're going to hear me say best of both worlds a number of times here, because that's really what we're doing here in creating a much better data protection environment for customers by giving them more options. And it's all about the options when you're talking about a platform. So we'll get into it a little bit here. So on January 25th, going back again, the CEO over at NetApp and our CEO joined forces in a little event over at Tesla Motorsports. And they both were talking about the fact that, you know, we needed to bring these technologies together and we need to work together, and that's why we did. And we put a lot of engineering into it to make sure that these two capabilities are available to the customer base today. So the funny thing is NetApp, in different ways, is saying the exact same things that Symantec says. You know, we've got to worry about, you know, managing data growth. We've got to worry about complexity in the environment because of having too many technologies out there and the number of technologies that are available. And we got to work at driving complexity out of this data growth and driving cost and the risk of this whole data growth and all this complexity together and driving that out of the customer environment. And the more that we can do that, the more we're giving the customer what they want and what they need today. So those are some of the messages that are coming out of NetApp. From us, our main platform that we're working off from is called cost. The first C in cost talks about capital expense and CapEx and CapEx costs. And for the most part, the main reason why we put these together is because they're the most on customer minds that as we talk to customers that are out there today. So what are customers thinking about? So CapEx is obviously a big expense, specifically when looking at the infrastructure and all the different things that are available and continue to be available. Another part of that is the operating expense. So how can we help our partners and our customers drive down customers' CapEx and OpEx? And that's what we're looking to do. And once again, the platform brings that together. The platform brings the capabilities of different environments together and drives down the capital and the operating expenses. Now, all while the customer is trying to drive down their expenses, they're also trying to keep their service levels up. So they need to make sure that they hit backup windows, in fact, a lot shorter backup windows than they used to. There's a lot more applications today that are considered critical applications in a customer environment that can't come down for backup as they used to be able to. You used to have a backup window. Now those windows are dwindling and things are happening. Also, you need to be able to come up with things like the ability to do billing and chargebacks to prove service levels, that type of stuff. We're definitely looking at that within the NetBackup environment. And finally, transformation. You got to continue to transform that IT environment. The customers are always looking for transformation. Virtualization is one of the biggest transformation that has happened in the near history. So, you know, we've got to take a look at how do we continue to give the customers what they want, what they need, in order to continue to hit those service levels and lower those costs. So that's what we look at when we look at a customer and how do we help those customers get along. So currently we're looking at the state of a customer's environment, specifically an enterprise customer's environment. And there's no question that virtualization is one of the biggest trends in the enterprise today. And virtualization has successfully been able to demonstrate and been able to have the ability to leverage the increasing power of servers and the capabilities of the actual physical hardware to reduce footprint and to drive associated costs down. Now, they did that in the server side, but what we've seen is because it's so easy and because it's so available, we've seen a little bit of a sprawl, and a lot of people talk about a big sprawl within the VMware area, and going from 10 VMs to hundreds to thousands. And on the other side of the coin, this ease of deployment of new applications is causing for data growth to explode. So before virtualization, we had data growth explosion. We talked about it. We've talked about it for years. But with virtualization, it's even compounding on top of that. This growth in the data that's been created in the demand for storage and the new complexities in managing that storage, as a result, CapEx and OpEx are on the rise. In fact, studies have shown that many virtualization projects, storage can represent 40% of that CapEx. So, you know, in many of the organizations, we see functional silos, and that's what we've represented here. So you've got a virtual silo, and in quite a few of these silos are actually you have multiple people trying to manage the data protection environment in those silos. So in virtualization silos, a lot of times what you see is the VM administrators managing their environment and also getting a piece of their data protection environment. Excuse me. In the physical world, you still see the backup administrators kind of taking over and running with that. Database, you've seen it for years. Database administrators have done things like snapshotting and copies and all that type of stuff in order to secure their data, their environment. And of course, what's that doing to the storage management team? That's creating quite the strain on the storage management team, both from an OpEx and a CapEx side of the coin. So when you take a look at the whole environment, you know, it's getting more complex. And as you add more of that complexity, also adds more of that operational costs. And that's what we are looking at, and we are trying to make sure that we provide, again, a platform data protection solution that covers all of these areas. And we're only going to be talking about one piece of that. So when you take a look at the next slide, the NetBackup platform, you can see how we handle all the way from virtual to physical, all the way from array to big data, which we've been handling for a while, including database data, that type of stuff. But we're going to focus mainly today on arrays, and we're going to talk about this snapshot management and how we are now just adding that piece of the puzzle, or we now just added that piece of the puzzle, and really work well with it. Then you take a look at optimizing the storage. So you can move that data then anywhere from tape all the way out to the cloud, once again within one platform, and that's within NetBackup. So just a quick little note. Mainly the reason why I threw this slide up there is just to talk about, how if you're out there talking to customers, chances are you're running across a lot of NetBackup customers. For those that aren't NetBackup resellers, for those that are NetBackup resellers, obviously you're running across a lot of NetBackup customers. But also, if you go to the next slide, you're looking at a lot of NetApp customers. So we did a little survey a little while back and found out that roughly about 35%, and I think that might even be a little low. I don't know how great a survey this is in this day and age of surveys, but I wouldn't put a plus or minus 2 or 3%. I'd put a plus or minus about, or actually probably more like a plus about a 10 to 15%. So you're looking at probably more like 40 to 45% of our customer base has some type of NetApp in their environment, which means a very large customer base that could potentially take advantage of Replication Director. Anywhere from 10 to 15,000 customers out there worldwide today have the type of environment that we could be talking to them about Replication Director with. So it's a big market and big availability. So why should customers care? What's the value of Replication Director? Well, customer problems, we've talked a little bit about that already, the cost, increasing cost, the risk, what virtualization is doing, what's happening in environments where just manual snapshots are being done in the replication process with no granular recovery capabilities. We're going to talk a little bit more also about, obviously the benefits to adding and uniting these snapshots with this wonderful recovery point objective that you can get with snapshots and the off-host capabilities of data protection, along with the RTO capabilities that NetBackup brings to it by doing cataloging and indexing and being able to do granular file recovery, and by the ability to do just to go out there and find the files more quickly and restore them fast. So those are the things that we're going to talk about between the two. What does Dave Russell say over the Gartner Group, or the analyst for the most part, saying? And they've been saying this for a little while, and that's why we've actually moved forward with this and brought it about back in February. Backup vendors need to be able to exploit and integrate with network-based NAS devices. And so that's what we're doing. So what does this do? Once again, integrates NetBackup and NetApp. We already talked about that. This unified snapshot management. So all of the snapshotting and all of those capabilities are being brought by the capabilities within the NetApp filer environment. We're then bringing all of the search capabilities and everything that's available within NetBackup, including the granular file searches, including some of the e-discovery searches that we have, search and hold capabilities. All of the capabilities, or at least most of the capabilities within NetBackup, are now available to this particular environment. We still have some work to do, and I know we're a little bit behind on bringing this to market, but we're going to get there, and we're going to get there real quickly. And we've got a feeling that, in fact, as we're talking to customers that are out there that are NetBackup and NetApp customers, they're getting very excited about this capability. What don't we have today, but we will have in the next release, or at least part of it in the next release, and that's support for VMwares, also support for applications and block-level devices. Those are three things that we don't have today, but once again, 7.6 is only a few months away. Definitely get out there and start talking to customers about it today. So when you take a look at how does it work, so when you go in and take a look at the current environment, you've got, let's say you already have NetBackup out there. Let's say you have your NetApp Data Fabric Manager out there. So what do? You go into Data Fabric Manager and NetBackup. With NetBackup, you add the Replication Director license. And by the way, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I don't really I like the name Replication Director, but Snapshot Director was already taken in a previous name. So let's just, in our minds, think of it as Snapshot and Replication Director. And then what you do is you go out and you add the NetApp plugin within Data Fabric Manager. And then you go ahead and you set up the snapshots and everything within Data Fabric Manager, and then you go over to your NetBackup, and everything else is set up there, including all the lifecycle management. So we use our storage lifecycle management policies to then create or I shouldn't say create, but to manage then the snapshots from there, and to actually go in and, like I say, index them, catalog them, and make them available. I make the granular restores available. So all of that's done within NetBackup. So one-time setup, we have a video out there that goes through it. It takes about 30 minutes to do this. It's a very simple process, and at least to those that know NetApp and NetBackup. 30-minute process, you're done, and you've got your data protection scheme set up. Excuse me. Here's another quick look at it. So once the NetApp side is set up, the process that we go through in order to do our backups is that the master server then goes out and requests the application server or the file server, then goes in and creates that snapshot or asks NetApp to create that snapshot. All this is done and managed within the NetBackup master server. A copy is created and replicated, and then once again, off-site. And once it's off-site, we can then mount the snapshot at the off-site server and put it off the tape. Once again, all of this being handled by our lifecycle management policies within NetBackup. So very simple process. So file recovery. File recovery from snapshots is a little bit of a tedious process. Not a lot of work, but a little bit of a tedious process. If you have to do it often, then you really are going to love the capabilities that NetBackup brings. Because you have to go in and you have to cross-reference that laptop or that desktop with the filer. Excuse me. And then you have to go and figure out which snapshot schedule you want to pull it off from, find the name of that snapshot, and then mount that snapshot on the network, and then pull back the file and restore it. Within NetBackup, you go out to Op Center, which is our one-screen management capability, no matter what environment you're in. So not only for those people that are doing snapshot data protection, but let's say you have other types of storage in your environment. Let's say you have remote offices, you have whatever, and all of it's being run with NetBackup. It all can be seen from one screen and from one location. And you have the capability to go out there and search files and then restore them. And it's as simple as that. So once again, the best of both worlds. The world that they're bringing, that NetApp is bringing, is on the RPO side. That's something that they bring fantastic capabilities with those snapshots and off-host data protection. And then on the RTO side, our cataloging, indexing, and granular file recovery. I know I've said it a number of times. Sorry, I will say it maybe once or twice more. So then when you take a look at, this is what Op Center looks like. So we've gone in and already typed in the file that we want to restore. This is the look that you get. This is a one-day look. You also got the tab for a week look or a month look if you want to go back further. You go in there. The ones with the little cameras are the snapshots. Also, if there was a physical backup taken for that file, you'll see the physical backup. You'll be able to go back to, say, the snapshot at 4 a.m. Excuse me. And then you click on it, and it puts it into a restore cart. Now, if there's other files that need to be restored along with this one, you can build the whole cart up and then deliver all of the files all at once. Very simple, very easy from one pane of glass and through our store, operational restore. You know, we've already talked a little bit about this, the leverage of the snapshots. If I haven't already beat it to death, you know, centralized management for the backup replication, all that's done, searchable, off-host indexing, and that type of stuff. We've already talked about this, but this is a nice slide that really breaks it down. And if you're going in front of customers, this is a good slide to have in front of you that just kind of gives you the basics and really puts the pieces of the puzzle together. So what is NetApp saying on it? Well, their CEO was at our Tesla event. We've been at a number of their events, which I'll show you in just a minute. We really are bringing the two companies together, but we're not only bringing two companies together with this technology, but some of the others, which I'll show you in just a second. This is one piece of, I'm not sure if this came off their website or if their literature, but it really talks about on NetApp paper, you know, what we bring, which we've already talked about, and what NetApp brings to the puzzle, and the fact that we're better both together. The best of both worlds really is the way to look at this. And for those customers that need that technology, not everybody does. I'll be the first one to admit, but there's a lot of customers out there that do, and with that $10,000 to $15,000 or $15,000, with the 10,000 to 15,000 customer base that's out there, I'll guarantee you there's a lot of opportunity. So if you go out to NetApp's website, you go to their Solutions tab. You can go down and actually pull this white paper off from who should benefit, or how you benefit from this white paper. So there's more information out there. There's also a joint website which I'll reference here in just a minute between the two organizations. So what do you need to know? Well, first of all, you need to know what the licensing model looks like. And what does it cost? I mean, that's what everybody obviously wants to know. If a customer is a NetBackup NetApp customer and they are on the traditional licensing model, which is the a la carte model, they bought every piece, every license by itself, the cost is $13.95 list price per front-end terabyte, which is literally how much data is on that filer that you're going to do the snapshot on. That's the cost. So if there's 1 terabyte, it's $13.95. If there's 10 terabytes, it's $13,950. And once again, think of that as list price. So it's really inexpensive to add these type of capabilities into a traditional environment. If you're looking at a platform environment that's already out there, either the complete edition or the NDMP edition, and don't look at those two bullets right down below the NDMP edition, but look at the complete edition. Replication Director is included. So the customer, if they're on the platform front-end terabyte pricing model, they currently have Replication Director available to them. Now, if they want to add on the, let's say a customer doesn't have NetBackup and they want to add on NetBackup into their current NetApp environment, they can go out there, and that's the only piece of that that they have, or the only piece that they want to add it onto. They can actually go out there and buy that NDMP edition, and for $39.95, add the capabilities of NetBackup to their NetApp environment. So for $39,950, you can cover 10 terabytes of data, and you can get the media server, master server, whatever you need in order to get this up and running, including Replication Director. Not a bad little add-on, and a nice little sale for everybody that's out there. So we've already talked about this. What do they need to do to get this integrated solution? We already talked about. All you need is two things: plug-in and Replication Director. The plug-in is at no charge, by the way, from NetApp for the Data Fabric Manager. That is at no charge. So it's available now, and they can download it as it says right there from their NetApp support site. Another neat thing that we did with this is we put together a reseller agreement with the NetApp team so they could put it on their price list, and this is available. Now, the only thing that is available on the price list is Replication Director. So if a customer is adding this to a current NetBackup environment, that's no problem. They can buy those SKUs either through the Symantec SKUs or through the NetApp SKUs. That was announced back in March and is available now. The nice thing about this is that the Symantec sales folks get credit for it, so there's going to be no fight there, and then it also retires NetApp quota. So that's very important to those folks, and that way you don't get anybody fighting the battle of which one should use, which one shouldn't you use, so on and so forth. Now, I had mentioned earlier that the relationship with NetApp is getting stronger in many ways, more than just NetBackup. And by the way, we've had a very strong relationship with NetApp in the past. It kind of floated out for a little bit, and now it's back again, and we're seeing that in the field, these relationships are starting to build back again and really going in and doing a lot of joint partnering. But not only Replication Director and NetBackup is a piece of that puzzle. So under reseller contract right now, we have that piece, which we just talked about, Replication Director, but we also have what's called VDMP, which is Veritas Virtual, actually not Veritas, originally it was Veritas, but anyway, Virtual Dynamic Multipathing. And that capability has been around for a long time within our Storage Foundation products, and is now available in the VMware environment. I don't know a lot about it. It's not part of my group, so I'll stop there without trying to outstand my boundaries. But if that looks interesting to you, we can definitely the folks over at Avnet can set you up with the right people to talk to. Also, in the archiving section, we've had Enterprise Vault around. We're the number one vendor in archiving in Enterprise Vault. We've done some good business with NetApp and some joint relationships with those guys in that area. And then also in the data insight area. And once again, that's another area that I don't know a lot about. But we've got 4 different products that we're meeting with NetApp and that we're going to go into business with NetApp on. Couple other quick notes. I had mentioned the Tesla event already. We were at their Insight event. They were at Vision. We've got a lot of joint PR going on. We did the 13-city partner academies, and I visited probably about 4 or 5 of those. Great events, good opportunity for us to really kick this thing off. Now we need to continue to push it and get it further out there. And the main thing, once again, I'll say is that this is more about customer awareness. And once customers become aware of this capability, so they are going to be interested in it. So what are the next steps? What are the next steps? Boy, I'm getting in here with only half of my time used up, which is just fine because I think we've covered pretty much everything we need to cover. Next steps, go out and tell your customers about it. Once again, awareness, awareness, awareness. Call your Avnet and or your local Symantec and NetApp channel account managers. Get in tune with those guys. Talk to them. Tell them you're interested in this level. If we need to do some more training, let us know. We'd be more than happy to do deeper dives for technical folks, go a little bit more in depth for sales folks that need it. And then also there's tons of information out there. So start out by checking out if you're right now a NetApp partner, or I'm sorry, a NetBackup partner, you can go out to our PartnerNet. You can also, there is also a joint portal that's out there. It says that it was targeted by me. I apologize. I should actually have that on there, but there is a joint portal out there. You can contact your Avnet folks, and they can steer you in the right direction there, or we can get you a copy of this presentation with that with a link to that. I mentioned earlier demos. There's 2 different demos out there that are on our main website. One goes into a good sales presentation, goes once again a little bit more depth on the actual technology here. It's a good presentation to sit through and watch if you want to fill in some gaps or maybe I went a little too fast in some certain areas. You need to polish your sales and discussions with your customer base. There's also a technical demo out there that's about 30 minutes long. That one's about 10 minutes long. The technical demo is about 30 minutes long, and it actually goes into and configures this whole process in 30 minutes. Once again, that's how easy it is. Definitely, if you're an SE on the phone or on the webcast, definitely go out there and take a look at that. That's a good way to get yourself familiarized with the process in building these. There's a lot more information available, like I had said. You can go out there and there's different product documentation that's available on our main websites, also on our partner sites, both NetApp and ourselves at Symantec. There's different forums out there, there's different partner support. So, we pretty much got you covered on anything you need. All we need to do is hear from you, and that's about it. So that's all I had for today. Let's open it up for any questions.
Great, thank you, Jim. And we did receive one question throughout your presentation, and it was, is Replication Director included in the capacity-based license?
Yes, it is included in the capacity-based license. So if that was a little confusing here, I'm going to go back a couple slides. So if you take a look at this, once again, in the capacity-based license, which is our platform per front-end terabyte model, the bottom one, if you look at both in the Complete Edition and the NDMP Edition, it is completed, or it is included in there and bundled. The only reason why we put the price in there at the $39.95 is to point out the fact that if somebody doesn't currently have a NetBackup environment, that for $39.95 per front-end terabyte, you can actually add this to a current snapshot environment. So I hope there's no confusion on that. If there is, once again, contact your contacts and get more information on that.
Okay, well, we are receiving some more questions. The next is,
okay,
where's the easiest place to find an HCL, platforms, versions of storage, firmware, etc.?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat that, sorry?
Where's the easiest place to find an HCL, platforms, versions of storage, firmware, etc.?
That's a good question. I would reference you to our PartnerNet site if you're a Symantec partner, or contact your local channel account managers. They should be able to help you out with that. And there's also a technical site if you're an SE that could help you out there too. We've got a number of sites, but if you want to, send me an email and I'll hook you up with those sites. So you see my email address there on the screen.
Okay, and they also want to know, how do we find out who our local Symantec rep is for Mid-Atlantic area or for a federal rep?
For Mid-Atlantic, you know what? I tell you what. We don't have a list of them on the screen here. You can call the 800 number, and I apologize, I don't have it sitting right in front of me. I used to know it off the top of my head, but there is an 800 number. Let me see if I can't find it real quick. You can call that 800 number and then talk to the inside sales team, and they can refer you to the right individuals. And I am going to scramble while I answer the next question, and hopefully I'll have your 800 number available for you.
And also, too, Jim, I would say they can contact the Avnet, Symantec, BDMs, Jason Walker and Jay Jealous. We can send that contact information to all the attendees after the webinar.
Absolutely. In fact, guys, that's actually a better place to go. Call your Avnet folks. They've got the names, and they've really got a lot of this information available, and they're very good at getting it out to you. So let's just leave it at that.
All right, and another question that came through is, what are the plans to support other platforms besides NetApp?
Yeah, and that's definitely in the plans. We'll see a little bit of that in 7.6, along with more capabilities within the NetApp platform. but there will be some more capabilities, and I don't have those right in front of me at this time.
Okay. Well, those are the questions that came through. So on behalf of the Avnet team and today's speaker, thank you again, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day.
Great. Thank you, everybody.